Morning. Excuse me. Good morning. All right. So all the data's out. Not a big deal. Markets yawned at it. Kind of surprised a little bit. Thought it'd be more of it jiggled a bit, but didn't move away from yesterday's range so far. And yesterday was exactly what we thought it was going to be, a go nowhere day. Um, so far, prices are hanging up there. Well, this is the futures. We got to go back to SPX, but so far they're hanging up here and building a shelf to move one way or the other. Right? That's going sideways does. Getting ready to move one way or another. It ran up. You can see if you can visualize this on a closing basis so far. It's just going sideways, doing nothing. They bought the dips. That was last week on the way up. And now, with our internals, where they're at here, sentiment flipping over a little bit, kind of tag that upper band and breadth where it is, tells us that markets are going to correct. And question is, do they go down or sideways? And we discussed that 4,000 level in SPX, kind of potentially pinning things where they're at. And so nothing much going on here. We got a red candle yesterday as the upside was rejected, and things just went nowhere. It was kind of like a coma day. Not much happened. You can see that, it's explaining momentum, right, without any indicators. Vertical and extends above the prior highs. That's power. And so naturally, by the pullback or continuation pattern, pullback was better since it came right up and down into support. And then there was decent momentum again. And now we see momentum is slowing. Right? The distance between the pivots are getting closer together. And so as momentum slows, we will see if more sideways price action. So for example, this is, let me get the little drawing thing out here. Possibly a retest and then back down, or, waiting, but it's just stuck at that 4,000 level where that big open interest of puts and calls are. Kind of has a tendency to pin things there. So the expectation was that prices would hang around here. And now with the news out, last week was like hip, hip, hooray. And now it's like, here's inflation data. Things are, I guess, a little better. I don't take a peek at all the numbers, but markets aren't running any higher. All right. So on SPX, I think the upside is a no-brainer. I had written down 40, 45, which is increasing. So futures must be going up a little bit. 40, 50. Yeah, 40, 50, 40, 50. I think that's safe. It's more than 50 points. And because of the consolidation, the average range over day to day has been contracting. So the day to day ranges are been about 50 points. You think the put spread's a no brainer? Probably, I would say, I'm not arguing you. I think probably both sides, but I did look. I thought it was a kind of close. 39.50. Well, I like the fact that it's at or just below that prior low. I don't think it's going in either direction. So you could do an iron condor and just manage them. Of course, S&Ps are kind of inching up a little bit more, so the juice on the upside has increased a bit. It's probably, give or take a little bit, going to stay within this range. Yeah. Okay, 45. All right. Well, if it takes a dip early on, that's 65 by 70. That's sure. Yes, yes. So YM, that got clobbered a little bit, and this is shaping up like a classic M top. where the momentum move up, the breakout that got rejected, and it's retesting a bearish bar. The week is not done, but this is pretty much a classic type of an M top that, creates a void below. You can see there's overlapping opens and closes right there. That was your support. And you can see it's a base. It's going to be like a little base there. This little congestion area right there where it tested, and it looked like it was going to roll back over. And this move down broke through all of these pivots, and then it, just held there during the holidays. And so now retesting the rejection point. And so now we wait to see the end of this week. Do we get that bearish candle? And then breaking the lows. Yeah, that's a, they did that in stocks. I mentioned in the room some time ago, these brothers in Vegas. I don't know if they're still around. Two very large men, obese. Trade, that was kind of their prop trading go-to thing, pairs trades. I guess it could work. I think if you know how to read a chart and you think one is long and one is short, whatever, you can trade them all. Yeah. All right. So that turning up to possibly be a bearish pattern, time to go. Now, why would they long Qs? Well, because this is the one that fell the hardest and has the void. And so these are inching higher. And you can see interest rates are down. You see they're red here. And that's helping tech move up. We'll see how far this gets. Yeah. Yep. Russell was the leader on the way up. That is right there at those topping tail bars. It didn't move much from yesterday. It's got a void below. Now, we say it's got a void below, but that statement also means strength. Because if something can create a void, it had to be strong. Right? With a fluid type of a move like that. And the depth of retracement, well, in this case, it's a trading range, but this one stair-stepped its way down where this exploded to the upside. So that's bullish. There's no support underneath. So it's got to create support. That's why we say it's the weakest link, because there's nothing to trade against. And how, the end of the week, we'll see what it looks like. I mean, if it breaks out and this is rejected, that's going to be more bearish. And so we'll just have to assess the correction, right, as we always do. And we always look at something like this because, look, it's a wide range bar. Right? On a higher time frame, it's a wide range bar. So we say, okay, 50% of the wide range bar, any correction within here is acceptable. It could dip below, but if we want to see the close stay above here and ideally a little bit better. And that's going to take some time into next week. All right. Sure, Don. Sure. We looked at that. We looked at S&PS. We looked at all of them. We didn't look at spiders. So there's the whip. There's the whip there, right? And yesterday, rejection of that 400 area. And same thing, SPX 4,000. Small candle body, no real damage done. Look at this on a closing basis. No big deal so far. One day. This day, as things move up toward resistance, and you think, okay, things are going to stall there. They're going to, high potential for a turn. This is typically a very difficult trading day because buyers are still bullish and they don't give it up so fast. Whereas on the downside, well, they didn't hear, but many times on the downside, you get more of the, quick capitulation moves and reversals like there on the weekly. So now, where's this going to go? Well, systematic approach. Prior day's high is resistance. Prior day's low is support. Where did it go up to? It went up to 400 on that move. Right? Got knocked back down. It's coming up here. Just whippy consolidation. For me, that means stay away until things settle down. 398. It was like yesterday's close, give or take, where it stabilized. Now it's moving up. So I don't see much of anything happening here. The news is out. What's going to move the market at this point? So, I mean, it's individual stocks. And as, the week goes on, or as we see more bars that are more convincing than what we're looking at in the broader markets, right? Something that might gap down or gap up and get rejected, or big bottoming tail bars where there's premium in credit spreads expiring at the end of the week. That becomes an opportunity, where there's less risk, less days of gap risk. So we'll be looking for that. But right now, this is probably going to stay below this area, I would say. And the downside probably not going to get too far below the 200. Yeah. They've been, Alex, they've been speaking a lot over the last month or two. Seems to be a non-event. I mean, it has been a non-event for the most part. I mean, Powell says something and maybe things move, but when I saw all of them lined up a couple of months ago, I was like, oh boy, what's going to happen? What's going to come out of their mouth? What are they going to say? This and that. And it's just like, it was like nothing. Yeah. Date book. Hey, we'll see. 2:00. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we got the big data today, whatever there was last week. Inflation gotten better, 9%, 6.5%. They both suck. And, lots of projections for the end of the year at 3% and so on. And so markets reprieve. Let's see what the earnings come out as. And as all these earnings come out, that's really going to tell the tale, which you would think, hey, did I actually read today? It was kind of skimming there. More layoffs now from Microsoft, I believe. I mean, so many people are losing their jobs. I believe it is. I have to find the story. Anyway, so many people are losing their jobs. That can't be a good thing for the economy and, people spending money and earnings and all that. But of course, that's going to lag. Yeah, another 11,000, and so many companies have been laying off people. It's a huge amount of people that are losing their jobs. And you would think, these are relatively high paying jobs. And I don't know, maybe not too many people pay attention to news, but probably maybe the average guy on the street, has no idea what's bubbling under the surface there. But if they are, you would think, I mean, it'd be normal people to think, hey, am I going to lose mine? Well, by the time someone loses their job, they go out to see. I mean, I guess it's displayed in unemployment. I guess they go and file unemployment if that's what they're doing. But maybe they're out looking for other jobs. I just think it just always filters through as to the effects that it's going to have. So, I mean, psychologically, the effect if someone reads the news, like I'm looking at that and I see, oh, here's another major company laying off people. That's not a positive thing. Anyway, let me continue here. So not much is changing. We talked about the dollar coming into this major support level. It's stabilized. It's here. It's down a little bit again. So it's going to wiggle around. We'll see if it can make a turn. 10 years is down here. So with all of these momentary positives, right, whatever the inflation number was, the dollar's down, interest rates poked down, the markets aren't doing anything. Tech is up a bit. That's normal. So what we're going to be interested in here is whether this can continue to extend its gain toward this resistance, even if the Dow is showing relative weakness. And at some point, I guess the tale of what's going on is if this gets rejected and turns into a topping tail today or tomorrow, that would be our sign that more of a correction is going to start. However, just based on options expiration, I think whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen next week. Silver, nothing for now. Gold still working its way higher, slowly churning. Crude oil, I mentioned in the weekend letter, it looks like it's bottomed. This retracement back up again. Yeah, I was speaking to a guy who has family in Germany the other day, and he was saying that he was told, imagine this, he's saying, hey, we're so lucky our heating costs was only $1,500 last month. Other people are paying $5,000. It's insane. And you're saying, okay, the footsie's up, whatever. I don't know. Holidays, beginning of the year, whatever it is. There's a lot of bad things going on out there. They're subsidized by who? The government? Government spending more money, creating more inflation. That created the problem. Anyway, I'll let Dan take over before we get into that conversation.
Good morning. Yeah, more bad news that's not being talked about too much is the Ukraine. And then they are talking about Taiwan, but so those are two big war things. So yeah, we got this kind of runaway market here. Well, it's churning its way up. So as I said yesterday, same today, I have a bullish bias until we get this reversal that Greg's been talking about. And right now it's just an inside bar. So I'm still bullish until we retrace at least 50% into, what's today, Wednesday? Monday was off, into Friday's bar. And I'm just in the mode of, I'm a whole lot more selective on new setups because we didn't, I was bullish as can be on this closing bar. And we just went nuts with bullish trades for our subscribers. And now it's the time to pause with the internals. I got another contrarian indicator, CNBC. They're up there. Oh, let's see if we can get NASDAQ up 8 days in a row now. It's just not the time to push the throttle. Down here was. Raul asking about MRO. Oh, shorted yesterday. Well, it's range bound. I mean, day trade, yeah. Swing. It's not a swing short pattern because it's just in a trading range. But yeah, you got a little bull sandwich there. All right, Myrna here we have 2 open positions. We're long stock and out of the money put spread. So we're getting a nice gap up on that. We sold a third pre-market, moves up 30-minute low. That looks great. Tesla was one of my favorite long setups yesterday as a bottoming pattern with a price void, bullish closing 15-minute chart. Yesterday morning, I was waiting because the markets were in a morning tiz. But this looks great. I said target 145, 150. you know, I just can't chase now. And I was waiting for today because of these numbers that were out, and you know, that's always a calculated risk. The odds of a gap are fairly big, and you're either going to be happy or sad that you held overnight. I see Bitcoin perking here. These Bitcoin little stocks have just been on fire here. Wow, and they still look higher. Zoom, Thomas. But yeah, it's a bottoming pattern, you know, not a quality one, but it would be a put spread under these lows. Carvana, yeah, we were actually in a put spread on this igniting bar right there. We sold the $4.50 puts, but it's gone sideways in the upper 50%. I'll write it down and we'll look at the put value later. This uniform, I was trying to do a put spread yesterday. It was in the weekend letter, but there's no premium, but I see it gapping up here. There's a void. That's a long watch. Microsoft announcing more layoffs, but it's gapping up, so they don't care. Deep retracement here is strength. That's, you know, I wouldn't be shorting this at a minimum unless it took out a prior bar's low. Well, it's similar to Lulu. Somebody emailed me today. They wanted to do a call spread on this, and I'm like, not unless it takes out a prior bar's low at a minimum. This move off that gap is rallied into this gap area, and it's still plowing. That is not something to short or call spread. XRT had some numbers pre-market. It was I think worse than expected. I think it was down 1 point whatever. So many things have just run crazy recently. Look at Jets here gapping up again. I'm sure on news of Delta. Let's look at these earnings. Not Delta, United. All right, gapping up to 53. This is a climactic sell setup, 30-minute high. This is a definite call spread idea. This thing, it's like a rocket ship. It's gonna run out of fuel. It's just a matter of when. And then we'll sell a call spread on that. You know, cruise ships been going, hotels, a lot of junk has been going. Thomas Elsid, I don't see much there myself. Zim, it's gapping up from a bottoming pattern. You know, it's been relative weakness, obviously, because it hasn't bounced with the market. But I'll write it down. That would be a better put spread, because that way it doesn't have to go up a lot. I also got an email on BLK from someone today. They wanted to short a call spread, and I said something like it's at the 15-month moving. I don't know. That didn't even make any sense to me. And I'm like, this is a buy setup after a very bullish breakout on earnings. That's not a pattern to short a call spread on. So I left it on my list here. I mean, that's a put spread watch. CGC, we're long stock and short puts, and I just got an up alarm. A couple of these marijuana, we're in this and Michael Jackson. These a lot of these marijuana stocks have been perking. Let me set a new alarm. Yeah, Thomas, unless if you can give me a more specific question, just because I'm busy here pre-market, if something is a tier 1 actionable trade. Otherwise, I'd rather go through this and wait for the market open. No, tell me if you have a tier 1 on the, say, 15-minute chart, say daily gap, pro breakout, you know, whatever the case. Interactive broker, 80-80, gap's too big. PNFP, I don't know what this is, but gapping down. HWC gapping down, no great pattern. Could be a 30-minute low day trade short. Did I lose my pre-market again? No, it's just not showing any pre-market here. But this is kind of a pseudo 1, 2, 3. So if this can get over the green bars high, I like it. Costco, I just had a low alarm. Oh, okay, that's, I don't know what's going on here. We have a put spread on this. We had moved the stop to break even, so I got to keep an eye on that. I'll put it in a window. Fault, no pattern, you're gone. PRGS, no pattern. Schwab, you know, when I saw I had to look 3 times. It's like they lost $5 a share or something stupid like that. We'll come back to this, but that's a call spread idea. I didn't do a single option earnings trade last night. All right, this one was up, now down, so it's relatively flat, top of the range. Nothing to do there. PNC gap, and okay, this could be interesting. This could be interesting as an excessive type of gap. I got Mern in my other computer, so I'm going to put PNC here. Just, you know, I like excessive gaps in an area of support just to see what happens. PNC wrong tick. What does that mean? It's gapping down here to 152. I'm not sure what you're saying, Alex. All right, so cost alarm. All right, cost. Oh, cost came right back. So good. I'm just going to reset my alarm. Tick is very strong, 1600. Synopsis, I had up alarm going off. We're long Synopsis from yesterday. All right, Costco, just resetting my alarms and then moving on. It's fine. Yeah, Myrna, we got out of the third post-market. Alex, you should have got out at 206. You know, I use the pre-market charts, but that's a very bullish gap. So I moved up 30-minute low.